Turkey evacuated its citizens from Lebanon amid the growing escalation between Israel and Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah.
Ukraine's President Zelensky met with the leaders of the UK and NATO to discuss his secret victory plan for the war against Russia.
Anlatılacak gibi değil. Bizim evin aşağısındaki sokağı bombaladılar. O saatten beri ben halas artık Beyrut'ta kalmak istemiyorum dedim.
I hope this war will end soon because we left our family there. I left my husband there. So hope to come back soon.
لا هات كفر اسمع هاي وراء معي
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced further arms deliveries to Israel during a debate in the country's parliament. In his speech, he made it clear that Germany previously delivered arms and will continue to do so. However, Scholz left open the extent to which weapons are to be delivered, with some German parties accusing the governing coalition of lacking support for Israel. After the US, Germany is one of the most important arms suppliers to Israel.
The outbreak of war in the Middle East has raised serious concerns in Europe. On Friday, leaders from the 9 Mediterranean countries which form the Med-9 alliance are due to meet in Cyprus, where they will discuss the risks posed by the escalating conflict between Lebanon, Israel and Gaza and explore ways to address the deepening humanitarian crisis.
Κυπριακή Δημοκρατία, μέσα από την πρωτοβουλία Αμάλθεια, είναι γνωστό ότι συμβάλαμε σε ένα πολύ μεγάλο βαθμό στην αντιμετώπιση της ανθρωπιστικής κρίσης στην Γάζα, αλλά και μέσα από την ενεργοποίηση του σχεδίου Εστία την προηγούμενη Τρίτη, πετύχαμε μέχρι στιγμής τον επαναπατρισμό 2.000 πολιτών από 20 κράτη, μέσα από την συνεργασία 7 κρατών που χρησιμοποίησαν τους χώρους της υποδομής της Κυπριακής Δημοκρατίας.
Another major concern for Cyprus is the prospect of another wave of migration from the Middle East. The island has already been strained by a large influx of refugees, particularly Syrians arriving via Lebanon. And now Cypriot President Nikos Christodoulidis is warning that Cyprus has reached its limit.
Οφείλουμε να ομολογήσουμε ότι τα τελευταίο ένα χρόνο έχει μειωθεί σε μεγάλο αριθμό η ροή μεταναστών προς την Κύπρο, αλλά δεν πάβει από τη στιγμή που υπάρχει αυτή η κατάσταση στην περιοχή. Λογικό είναι ταλαιπωρημένοι άνθρωποι που ψάχνουν φως στην άκρη του τούνελ, να επιχειρήσουν κάποια στιγμή να έρθουν πίσω στην Κύπρο.
Περασμένη άνοιξη η Κύπρος δέχθηκε μεγάλο αριθμό προσφύγων και μεταναστών από τον Λίβανο. Νίκος Χριστοδουλίδης και Ούρσουλα Φόντερ Λάιεν έσπευσαν στη Βηρητό, η οποία και έλαβε πακέτο στήριξης ύψους 1 δισεκατομμυρίου ευρώ. Όμως η επέκταση του πολέμου αλλάζει τα δεδομένα. Η Med-9 θα εξετάσει τρόπους αντίδρασης εφόσον μεγάλος αριθμός ανθρώπων προσπαθήσει να φτάσει στην Ευρώπη μέσω Κύπρου και Ελλάδας. Από την Λευκοσία για το Euronews, Απόστολος Τάικος.
Ukrainian President Zelensky met with the British Prime Minister and new NATO Secretary General for talks on his secret victory plan for the war against Russia. Zelensky was originally set to present his plan at a meeting with Western leaders in Germany, but it was postponed after US President Biden said he had to stay in the US to deal with an impending hurricane.
Can I say again that when we discuss Ukraine, we know it is tough because the Russians are making small advances in the east, by the way, at a considerable loss of life on the Russian side. So they lose a lot of people, people dying, people getting seriously wounded, but still the Russians are making those small advances.
Details of Zelensky's victory plan have been kept quiet, but contours have emerged, including the need for fast action on decision Western allies have been mulling since the full-scale invasion began in 2022. After talks with the British officials, Zelensky travelled to France for a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron.
The European Union has given the green light to a loan of 35 billion euros to Ukraine. It will be gradually repaid through interest from frozen Russian assets. These Russian foreign reserves amount to approximately 270 billion euros, of which 210 billion are in the EU. The exceptional profits generated are estimated to yield between 2.5 and 3 billion euros per year. An initial agreement reached in June provided for the G7 to collectively provide 45 billion to Kyiv by the end of the year. In the end, the EU had to put more money on the table because Washington conditioned its participation on an extension of the EU sanctions against Moscow.
There is a risk that at some point sanctions against Russian assets will not be extended, because for extension there should be unanimity voting for this, and so the future flows of revenues from Russian assets can be disrupted.
These sanctions are voted on every 6 months unanimously, but the EU now would like to renew them only every 3 years for more stability. The US is concerned that a member state blocking these sanctions would sabotage the plan. Hungary has already declared that it will hold back any decision on changes in the sanctions regime until after the US presidential elections.
The United States, for example, might be considering a supplemental towards the second half of the year after the elections, but there is no guarantee that that might move forward. There's a lot of hesitancy. In particular, if Donald Trump were to win the election, what might his plans be for both aid as well as for moving towards a ceasefire?
Kyiv will be free to decide how these funds are used. The ball is now in the court of the European Parliament, which must give its consent to the 35 billion euro loan.
Addressing issues related to family and demography will be at the center of the upcoming European Congress on Family, organized by the ECR party in Croatia. In a briefing held in Rome, the party's Secretary General Antonio Giordano, alongside representatives of Brothers of Italy, explained the focus of the event and why these topics are central to the Conservatives' political agenda.
Un tema è sicuramente il punto di vista valoriale, sul quale i conservatori hanno un'idea molto chiara. Grande apertura a tutti i tipi di diritti, ma con la famiglia al centro. Poi ci sono le sfide economiche che le famiglie affrontano e quindi questo verrà ragionato con degli economisti. Poi ci sono le sfide tecnologiche, perché non dimentichiamoci che oggi uno degli elementi di crisi della famiglia è l'abbandono del dialogo a favore del social media.
A total of 300 delegates from around the world will attend the event, among them representatives from various right-wing forces. The ECR's party mission is to strengthen ties among conservatives around shared values, acting as a mediator among different parties.
Quando si parla di famiglia si riunisce tutto e quindi avremo membri del Partito Popolare, avremo membri dei Patrioti, ovviamente la maggioranza dei membri sarà del Partito Conservatore Europeo. In generale il progetto di ECR è quello di essere il centro del dialogo, quindi il punto di raccordo dove si possa parlare alla nostra destra e alla nostra sinistra e Nel futuro io spero di andare ancora più a sinistra.
Family and the fight against the demographic crisis gripping Europe have long been central to the ECR and FDI's political agenda.
In Italia indubbiamente abbiamo dei numeri preoccupanti che devono essere posti all'attenzione e al centro dell'agenda politica del governo, cosa che in realtà il governo Meloni ha già fatto con una serie di stanziamenti.
Giorgia Orlandi for Euronews in Rome.
Hurricane Milton has made landfall along Florida's Gulf Coast as a Category 3 storm, bringing life-threatening storm surges, flooding, rainfall and extreme winds. Gusts travelling as fast as 100 miles per hour have been reported in the Tampa Bay area, and flash flood warnings have been issued for nearly 2 million people in Tampa, St. Petersburg and Clearwater. More than 1 million people have currently lost power, and outages are expected to increase as Milton moves across the state. Shelters have been set up across the state for those who have had to evacuate their homes, and Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis has warned people to stay inside.
Stay inside and stay off the roads. Floodwaters and rushing storm surge are very dangerous. Stay put until the storm is passed. If you are in Sarasota, Manatee, some of those areas where the eye of the storm is going, it may be where things calm down for a minute. Just understand that means you're in the eye. It's going to go back and get really nasty very soon. So don't go outdoors until it is confirmed safe.
Search and rescue operations also continue after multiple tornadoes tore across Florida ahead of Milton's approach, destroying around 125 homes.